There are moments in marriage when the light between two people starts to fade, not because love is gone, but because the way they see each other has quietly changed. Beauty, in its deepest sense, is not only about physical appearance, it is the energy, the presence, and the silent magnetism that keeps two souls drawn to each other through the years. But when beauty is lost, not just the kind we see in the mirror, but the kind that radiates from within it, can silently begin to dismantle the bond that holds a marriage together. Many people think beauty fades with age, but the truth is that the most captivating kind of beauty has nothing to do with youth. It is the beauty of being fully alive, of having a spark in your eyes when you talk about what you love, of keeping your soul nourished so that you can inspire the person next to you. A marriage without this kind of beauty is like a garden where no new flowers grow. Over time, no matter how much history or commitment is there, something begins to wither. In the early days of love, beauty feels effortless. Every glance, every touch carries a natural electricity. But life has a way of dulling the colors, responsibilities, routines, unspoken resentments, and the slow erosion of appreciation. One partner stops trying, the other stops noticing. Both begin to assume the other will always be there, no matter what. And without realizing it, they stop feeding the very thing that made their connection irresistible in the first place. When beauty disappears from a marriage, it doesn't always happen in a dramatic way. Sometimes, it slips away so quietly that you don't notice until you wake up one day and realize you no longer look at each other with the same light in your eyes. And in that moment, many couples believe the problem is love itself, that maybe it was never real, or maybe it has simply run its course. But in reality, love may still be there, waiting to be awakened by the return of beauty. The danger lies in believing that beauty is something fixed, something you either have or you don't. In truth, beauty is an active choice. It is the decision to keep showing up for your marriage with the same energy you once did when you were falling in love. It is choosing to keep the mystery alive, to keep learning about each other, and to keep being someone worth being discovered over and over again. This is why a lack of beauty can quietly destroy a marriage, not because beauty is superficial, but because it is the living proof that you still care enough to create magic between you. Without it, the relationship becomes purely functional. You become housemates instead of lovers, co-managers of a life instead of partners in an adventure. And once that shift happens, it's only a matter of time before one or both of you begin to long for something more, even if you can't name what it is. Real beauty in marriage is deeply tied to emotional intimacy. When you stop seeing your partner as someone to impress, someone to surprise, someone to be vulnerable with, you start losing the spark that makes desire possible. And desire, no matter how strong love is the oxygen of long-term passion. Without it, the connection starts to feel heavy, obligatory, even resentful. It's not enough to love someone. You have to keep making them feel seen. You have to keep bringing the best version of yourself to the relationship, not because you're trying to be perfect, but because you know that love is a living thing, and living things need care to survive. Neglect in this area is rarely intentional. It happens when life becomes so loud that you forget how important it is to be intentional about beauty. This is why couples who have been together for decades and still look at each other with adoration often share the same secret. They never stopped tending to the beauty between them. They learned that it's not about extravagant gestures or flawless appearances, but about the small, consistent choices that say, "You still matter to me." The way they greet each other after a long day, the way they still touch in passing, the way they talk to each other with kindness, even when they disagree. The loss of beauty is rarely about wrinkles or weight gain. It's about losing the energy that once made your presence magnetic. When you let stress, resentment, or disconnection take over, it's not your face or your body that changes first, it's your energy. And your partner feels it, even if they don't say anything. The light you once brought into the marriage begins to dim, and with it, the sense of being deeply drawn to each other. But here's the truth. Beauty can be rebuilt. It can be rediscovered, no matter how long it's been gone. It starts with turning your attention inward, not to obsess over flaws, but to reconnect with what makes you feel alive. When you begin to nurture your own vitality, your presence changes. You speak differently, move differently, and your partner notices, even if they can't explain why. Sometimes, one person's choice to bring beauty back into the relationship can completely shift the dynamic. It can reignite desire, soften old wounds, and remind both of you why you chose each other in the first place. But it requires courage, because it means showing up fully again. It means being vulnerable enough to care, even when you're afraid it won't be reciprocated. A lack of beauty doesn't just harm marriages, starves them. It makes them fragile in the face of temptation, distance, and time. But when beauty is alive between two people, it becomes a shield against these threats. It keeps the bond unbreakable, not because life is easy, but because both partners feel cherished and desired. And here's the quiet truth that many forget. Beauty is not just about attracting your partner. It's about keeping your own soul awake in the relationship. When you feel beautiful, not in a superficial way, but in the sense that you are glowing with self-respect, passion, and authenticity, you naturally bring that light into your marriage. And that light has the power to transform everything. Before we go deeper, if you have ever felt that something essential was quietly fading from your relationship, the Jung method can help you understand why. It reveals how subtle shifts in perception can reignite connection and keep love alive. The link is pinned in the first comment. Beauty, when seen in its essence, goes far beyond physical appearance. It lives in the daily gestures, the way we truly see each other, the care that doesn't need to be spoken, and the emotional space we create for love to breathe. Marriages are not sustained by duty alone. They thrive when there is something to admire, to desire, and to respect. And this form of beauty is often the first to vanish when partners stop truly noticing each other. Many believe that time is the reason for this erosion, but in truth, it comes from neglect. It happens when we stop nurturing what keeps the bond alive, from paying attention to small changes, to remaining genuinely interested in our partner's inner world. Without this active beauty, an empty space appears, where routine and indifference take root. That is when a marriage starts losing its spark and emotional safety. The revival of beauty in a marriage is not about returning to some idealized past. It's about creating new ways to inspire and be inspired. It's about presence, admiration, and making sure the other person still feels seen. Deep attraction, the kind that sustains intimacy and companionship, grows from this ongoing exchange. When a couple understands this, they realize love is not just a feeling, but a conscious daily choice. A choice to keep the flame alive that once brought two lives together. True beauty, the kind that saves marriages, is not in eternal youth or grand gestures, but in the quiet commitment to remain someone worth loving every single day. Asterisk, when beauty fades in a relationship, it is rarely about wrinkles or the passing of years. It is about the quiet erosion of how we see each other, the subtle ways we stop looking with admiration and start seeing through the lens of familiarity. Beauty, in its truest form, is not the perfection of features but the presence of wonder. It is the way someone still makes you pause, still draws your gaze as if you are seeing them for the first time. Even after decades, marriages collapse, not because people age, but because they stop cultivating this kind of beauty. They forget that beauty is not a fixed trait, but a living energy that must be fed with presence, appreciation, and care. When two people stop showing each other that they are worth being seen, a slow decay begins. This is why some couples who have been together for years still look at each other with spark, while others drift into indifference within months. Real beauty is revealed in the way a person makes you feel when you are in their presence. It is in the tone of voice, the patience, in listening, the quiet acts of kindness that tell you, you matter. And when both partners protect this beauty, they are not just keeping attraction alive, they are keeping the soul of the marriage alive. But this beauty will not survive on autopilot. It needs conscious intention. It requires seeing your partner, not just as who they are now, but as the vast and evolving human being they continue to become. It means noticing the small details, the way they think, the way they move when they're lost in thought, the dreams they have yet to speak aloud. Couples who protect beauty understand that it is a shared responsibility. They refuse to let life's routines strip away the qualities that first drew them together. And when storms come, as they always do, it is this beauty that will make them choose each other again. Asterisk, beauty in marriage is not about competing with the outside world or keeping up with unrealistic standards. It is about creating an inner world that both partners want to return to, no matter what temptations or distractions exist beyond its walls. When a marriage becomes this safe, captivating place, the outside world loses its power to pull someone away. This kind of beauty is built in the daily choices, the choice to listen fully when your partner speaks, the choice to soften your tone even when frustrated, the choice to notice when they need comfort before they even ask. It is built in the way you speak to them when no one else is listening, and the way you speak about them when they are not in the room. It is also sustained through growth. The person you married will not be the same person 10 years from now, and neither will you. Those who keep beauty alive allow each other to evolve, to change, to surprise. They do not hold their partner hostage to an outdated version of themselves, but instead fall in love with each new layer that is revealed. When you nurture beauty in this way, marriage becomes more than a commitment. It becomes a living work of art, and like all art, it asks for both creativity and discipline. Creativity to find new ways to delight and inspire one another, and discipline to keep showing up with love even on the days when it feels easier to withdraw. The truth is, beauty in marriage is a choice, not a chance. It is the decision to see and be seen, to honor the sacred space between two souls, and to protect it as something rare and irreplaceable. And when both partners choose it, they create a bond that not only survives the years but becomes richer with them. When two people commit to a shared life, the years bring both blessings and tests. The beauty that sustains a marriage is not only the beauty you see in each other, but the beauty you create together in the everyday moments. It is in the way you speak when you are tired, in the way you listen when you disagree, and in the way you hold each other's dreams as if they were your own. These quiet acts shape the emotional climate of the relationship far more than grand gestures. A marriage begins to fade, not when time passes, but when partners stop noticing the small miracles in each other. This is why beauty in a marriage is not merely physical or aesthetic, but deeply tied to presence, gratitude, and mutual respect. When those are alive, attraction and desire have a foundation strong enough to endure change. It is also about the beauty of resilience, the choice to see beyond mistakes and grow stronger together rather than apart. There will be moments when one feels distant, when life's demands steal the energy meant for love. In those moments, beauty is choosing to pause, reconnect, and remember why the journey began. The truth is, the marriages that last are those where both partners actively cultivate beauty, not in perfection, but in the conscious decision to bring kindness into conflict, to bring humor into hardship, and to bring affection into the spaces where routine could easily take over. This beauty cannot be faked, and it cannot be replaced. It must be renewed, again and again, with intention. And when both hearts commit to that renewal, love does not merely survive, it deepens into something unshakable.